Spawn was fun and awesome and all, since we were the ones that made it so, but the end was inevitable really. We all grew bored of the same houses, and many people wanted to build better ones on new plots of land. Many of our minds had also become exhausted, so we all decided to expand elsewhere. One of my friends had gone exploring and found this incredible valley where towering mountains bordered a deep lake. I decided to join him there, so I grabbed all my valuables and set out to find him, following a path he made with torches. Eventually, we replaced that path with the cobble one you see here. So, here we are. Welcome to our second major settlement on this server. At first, we just referred to this place as the Valley, but eventually one of us christened the place Valley of the Wind, and so it was. At first, it was only 3 people. One friend took the rock face we're currently on top of, another decided to live underwater in the middle of the lake, while I snagged my own rock face to the right. Eventually, a bunch more people migrated here, and settled on the far side and beyond. This was my home here. Initially, it was just a hole in the wall, but I caved it out a bit, made everything cozy, dyed some wool with cacti for a carpet, and made the place passable as a home. That door leads to my mines here, but it got greased, so I patched it up with dirt temporarily. That was one thing I never got around to fixing. There was also a cave right above me, so I cleared it out and turned it into a second floor. The only notable thing there though is an amateurish wooden dining table I plopped down to fill the space. Right, I better explain these glass pipes. Remember when I mentioned we installed a nether mod on the server? It wasn't perfect. When you went through a portal its first time, its destination was fairly random. And when you went back through another portal, it spawned you in another fixed random location. I made portals in my basement, and their respective exit portals happened to be near my house, so I built these glass-walled rooms as return portal exits. I left the ceiling open because if they were added, players would spawn on top of the pipes, rather than inside them. You may have noticed the dearth of chests in this house. That's because I hid them here as well. I didn't bother telling anyone about their location, and again, I never got anything stolen from me. If you knock out the green wall in the corner, you'll find a switch. Pulling the switch opens a secret door in the house. Climb out via the ladder, replace the wall, and walk to the storage room. I hid the door to this one behind a painting. Basic building blocks as well as food and supplies are all stored in the central room. More valuable stuff on the other hand is stored upstairs. There are also furnaces up there for smelting. I got lucky with this place. If I dug any further or made this place any bigger, I would have breached the wall of the cliff. It was painfully obvious though that nothing was going to come of this particular house. The view was nice, but I was out of room to expand, and more people were coming. The valley was starting to become crowded. After an idiot set fire to the entire forest surrounding this place, 2 friends gave up and set off to live somewhere far away. They invited me to come over and visit, so I did. Because they didn't want morons following me, they gave directions rather than coordinates. They were pretty rough. Walk diagonally until you hit an ocean, then swim across it. You'll end up in a desert, find the hole in the ground. But I managed. I found the coastline easily enough, so I crafted the boat and rowed across. Just as I reached the desert it happened to turn night, but luckily the hole in the ground was slightly illuminated with torchlight. I don't think I would have ever found the place during the daytime. This is their desert base. Since sandstone was so easy to mine through, they had carved out the room and lined the walls with torches. Their chests are all in open view since none of us stole from each other, and there are people who did would have a hell of a hard time finding the place. All the way at the bottom of the ladder are the mines, while living quarters and some farms could be found in between. One friend built a brick wall here for the heck of it. Clay was rare back then, but none of us had enough for a house anyway. There are more chests here, as well as a nether portal in the adjacent room. I did stay with them for a while, but soon both decided to move again, since being in the desert was pretty boring. They would continue to use the place as a base of operations, as they searched for the most epic spot generated on the world. So while they searched, I decided to build my own mini-station, between the desert base and the Valley of the Wind, to allow for easier access both ways. I chose the coastline at the ocean as the site for this outpost. I didn't want it to be too obvious to people, so I hid most of it underground. The only thing above ground that people can see is a short cobbled tower that resembles a castle rook, hence my name for this place. The multitude of iron doors you see on the sides of the rook and entrance allow people to punch and fire arrows at mobs that may get too close to the outpost. Inside are 2 of my wolves and a few beds. The storage room here does just what it does, and there are plenty of furnaces to smelt with. Downstairs are 2 farms. One is a manual wheat farm which passers-by can harvest and make bread with for a long journey. The other is another tree farm. I built this one because I figured there would be plenty of boats traveling across the ocean later on. Eventually, the walks between the valley and the rook seemed to take longer and longer each time. I decided to build a short underground railway between my valley house and the outpost. The mod you see here is a sign elevator mod that we got installed on the server. Great time saver if you ask me, everyone loved it. At this time, powered rails had also been introduced in an update, so I finally had a use for all the gold I had mined.